Hello everyone. In this particular video, we are going to have a look at three programs. The first one is about sine series. The second one is on prime number. And the third one is related to strings. Let us look at the first program. It says compute the value of sine using Taylor series. So what I'm going to do in this program is I'm going to try to get the value of sine through the conventional method and then try to compare that with the value of sine through library function. So I have, as usual, couple of my header files, and I'm going to make use of library function which is related to maths, and hence I'm going to have math.h also as header file. And then I have a couple of variables declared. I enter the value of x in degrees, right? So I don't think I need to teach you about entering the value in degrees and then converting it to radians, because you would have already done in mathematics earlier. So this particular statement, I am going to convert whatever the value of x I have given in degrees into radians. And then I initialize my first and the first term and the sum like this. And then I'm trying to get the value of sine for first values of I from I to 100. I is equal to 1 to 100. And here I'm trying to find out the value of the next term. And whatever the value of next term I get, I add it to the variable called as sum, which was equal to x in this particular line. And then these couple of statements which is there with the for loop will give me the value of sine, which is stored in variable sum, which I am printing in this particular printf statement. And then I am making use of library function called as sin, which is prototype in math.h header file, to get the value of sine through the library function, which I am storing again in a variable sum. So, and that value which I get from library function, I am trying to print it in the form of printf statement here. So the bottom line is this printf will print the value of sine, which I get it from my calculation method. And the second one is this printf will print the value of sine, which I get it from library function. So let us see whether this program works or not. We'll just copy and paste this program in the compiler. So I'm making use of online compiler, that is onlinejdb.com. I just paste it here. And let me see, I run the program. So it's asking me enter the value of x in degrees. Let us say I enter 45 and I get the value like this. Output from calculation, sine value is 0.706825, and from library function, the sine value is again the same. So we find that there's no difference in the value of sine for 45, whether it is through calculation method or whether it is through library function, right? Now let us run the program again for another value of x. Let us say this time I'll put it as 90, and I get the value as 1 in both the cases. Okay, so this is how your program works. So let us now look at the second program that is called as prime number. What it says is to check whether the entered integer is prime or not, right? So you know very well what is the definition of a prime number, right? So let us directly plunge into the program. So what I have done here is I'm making use of a user-defined function, because you have to develop this program with the help of user-defined function. So I am making use of user-defined function called as check prime, which takes one parameter, which is nothing but integer. Okay, so this particular line is called as function prototype. This particular line is called as function prototype or function declaration. Then I have my main program, and I'm asking the user to enter the integer to check whether it is prime or not. That will be stored in a variable n. Now, if the value of this n that you enter is either 0 or 1, you know that 0 and 1 is not a prime number. So if it is 0 or 1, this condition gets satisfied, and I'm going to print the value, printf as not a prime number, and I exit from the program. On the other hand, if the value of n that you enter is neither 0 or 1, then it will come to this particular line. And here what happens, you are calling this user defined function called as check prime with n as a parameter, right? So this is called as function call. I repeat, this is called as function call. And what happens once it comes here, the control will directly jump to this particular place where you have written the routine for your user defined function. So this is called as function definition. I repeat, this is called as function definition. So let us now see, trace this program for a particular value of n to check whether the program written works fine. So let us say the value of n I enter here is 5. And then this particular condition is not satisfied, so the control will come to this particular line, and then I am calling a function check prime with n, that is 5, as a parameter, and the control comes here. Okay, so now what happens, let us say I have n is equal to 5, and then this particular variable a will get the value of n, right? Because the first parameter here will come and sit here. So the value of n is a. So I'll get a as also 5. Then I have a variable declared called as I, and then this for loop will work for I is equal to 2, I less than or equal to a by 2, right? Because you know that in order to find out whether a number is prime or not, I don't need to go all the way till n, which is equal to 5. If I go up to half of that, I'll be able to draw conclusion whether the number is prime or not. So I is equal to 2, I less than or equal to a by 2. So what's the value of a? A is 5. So 5 by 2 is 2. So my value of I will actually range from I is equal to 2 to 2 only, right? So 2 to less than or equal to a by 2. So 2 to 2 I plus plus. So if a percentage I is equal to 0, right? So what is the value of a? So that is 5 percentage 2, correct? So that's what it is, a percentage I. So that is 5 percentage 2 is actually 1, right? 5 mod 2 is 1. Now 1 equal to 0, correct? 1 equal to 0, condition is false. So return 0 statement will not get executed, but then control will come to the increment counter of for loop, and it will increment the value of I. So my now I becomes what? I is equal to 3, right? And then comes to the test condition, right? Now this is up to 2. So 3 less than or equal to 2, condition is false, and hence the control comes out of the for loop and it will return 1, right? This one will go and store in this particular line in place of this one. Watch out carefully. It will be stored here because this is the place where you have called the function. So actually speaking, this will be replaced like this, result equal to 1, which is a valid statement in C. And then the control comes to this particular line sequentially, and it says if result is equal to 1, correct? If result is equal to 1. So the condition is true, and hence it will print percentage d is prime, that is n is equal to prime. So what's the value of n? 5, and hence 5 is prime. Okay, now let us see how whether this program works or not. So I just copy the program from here, and I go to my JDB compiler. And I paste it. And let me run the program for you. So enter an integer to check whether it's prime or not. I just say 5, and we have just seen that 5 is a prime number. Let me run the program once again for some other value, for something which is not a prime. Let's say I enter 16, and you get 16 is not a prime, right? So this is how basically you develop a program for prime number. Now what I do is I will leave up to you people to trace the program for a value of n, right, which is actually a prime number. Let us say, for example, just now we saw 16, which is 16, which is not a prime number. So what you do is you hand run the program, or you trace the program for one particular value of n, which is not a prime, so that what happens is when the control comes back from the user defined function, right, the value of the variable result will be actually 0. And when the value of the variable result becomes 0, line number 15, this particular condition is not satisfied, and hence the control branches to line number 18, and it will print this. And that is the reason why you get the output as 16 is not prime. Okay. So this is how basically you will end up developing a program for the prime number. Let us move on to the third program. It says, write functions to implement string operations such as compare, concatenation, and string length, and convince the parameter passing techniques. If you remember, in our strings topic, we have studied these type of operations which are performed on strings. The first one we saw was string length, where we were able to find the length of the string with the help of the library function. We also used the conventional method of finding the length of the string without library function. String comparison, where you compare two strings and you draw conclusion whether the strings are equal or not. And we also know that when two strings are compared, and if the strings are not equal, the result produced is nothing but the difference between the ASCII value of the first non-matching character. And apart from that, we have also seen string concatenation, where one string is appended at the end of the another string. Now we are trying to do the same string operation, but with a small change. And the change is we are going to do it using parameter passing technique. Okay, we are going to use it using parameter passing technique. So actually I'm trying to do the string operations by making use of my own user defined functions, right? So if you look at this, this is my user defined function called as my underscore strlen, right? So this is my own user defined function which will print the length of the string. And then I have my own user defined function called as my underscore strcmp, which will compare the two strings. And finally, I have my another user defined function called as my underscore strcat, which will concatenate the two strings. So let us see how the program works. So this is my main program where I'm making use of two character arrays with 20 as a dimension, string 1 and string 2. I call it as str1 and str2. And then I have two variables called as result and length. So enter the first string and enter the second string. So both of my strings get stored in variable str1 and str2, right? And then I am trying to find the length of the first string. So my strlen with one parameter called as str1, right? So let us say if my str1 is equal to hello. Okay, so don't bother about the syntax or uppercase lowercase here, because I'm making use of Microsoft Word. So let us say str1 I enter is hello, and str2 I enter it as world, right? So this is just a tracing, or you also call it as hand run of the program. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And then I call this control comes to this particular line, and then I'm calling my underscore strlen user defined function with str1 as a parameter. So I'm calling this with hello as a parameter. So the control actually comes to this particular place, and then here I have str as hello, I is equal to 0, and str of I is not equal to 0, right? So I is 0, and str of 0, we have already seen the memory map for character array, right, where each is of 1 byte. So hello will be stored where h of hello will be stored in first, that is str of 0, then in str of 1 is he, then llo, and finally at the end of the string you have a null character, right? So basically what happens is we have already seen in the theoretical concept, so I'm not going to go into deeper aspect right now. So your initial value of I is 0, so str of 0 is actually h, right? H of hello. So we have this hello here. So actually this h is str of 0. So h not equal to 0 condition is true. So I plus plus I becomes from 0, it becomes 1. And then again the while loop will check for str of 1, which is nothing but this e is str of 1, e not equal to 0, condition is false, condition is true, and hence I plus plus becomes I as 2. Similarly, it proceeds till it encounters the null character which is after O. This one, after O there's a null character. So null not equal to null condition is false, and then it will come out of the while loop, and then it will return back the value of I. Right now, when it comes out of the while loop, the value of I will be 5, which is actually nothing but the total length of this particular string hello, right? And that particular 5 will be stored in this particular variable where I have called it. So this length will be 5, and this printf will print the length of the string, right? So length of the string hello is equal to 5. Then I'm proceeding for my next user defined function where I'm trying to compare the string. So this particular user defined function takes two parameters, because it is obvious that if I want to compare two strings, I should have two strings with me. So str1 and str2. So it comes all the way to this particular place where I have written the user defined function, and where str1 is hello and str2 is world. And as usual, I have the value of the variable I is equal to 0. And then I will say while str1 is equal to str2 of I, right? So this is the loop, right? So I have one is hello and another one is world. So str1 of I, so this is my str1, correct, which is h, and str2 of I is equal to w, where I is 0. So h and w. So if str of, while str of I is equal to str2 of I, right? So this particular program will work till it encounters the false condition of the while loop, and then it comes out of the while loop, and then it will return str1 of I minus str2 of I, right? And then when it returns the str1 minus str2 of I, that's the difference, that will come and get stored in my result, this particular line. And then the conclusion that I draw is, if the value returned from the user defined function strcmp is 0, right, then the conclusion drawn is both strings are equal, right? Otherwise, if it is not 0, then the conclusion drawn is both strings are not equal, right? Because we have also seen in theory that when strings are compared, and if they are found equal, right, it always returns 0, which is slightly different, as we have seen earlier, that in case of relational operators, right, it is different, and in case of strings it is different. And finally what I'm doing is I'm calling my third user defined function called as strcat, right, which again takes two parameters, and then the control comes here, right? And this is the program that I have developed for, user defined function that I have developed for string concatenation. So what I do is while str1 of I not equal to 0, I keep incrementing the value of I and then I set the value of j as 0, and then this is for my second string. So the first string is actually hello, and my second string is actually world. So what happens is I have this hello already, and the value of I becomes 5 because that's the length of the string, and then j is equal to 0. So now what happens is str of j, that is str of 0, is actually w. So w not equal to 0, condition is true, so it goes inside, and str of j plus plus, that is post increment. So but j value is 0, so str of j is actually w, and hence what happens, w gets appended after o, and then that is actually removed from here, like. And then what happens, like that, this particular for loop will ensure that all the characters of string 2, that is the world, WORLD, ultimately comes and joins this one. Correct? Now, once it happens like this is what you say string concatenation. One string is appended at the end of the other string. But then what happens to the null character? Correct? See, earlier we had null character here after O of hello, and then we also had null character after D of world. But then after concatenation takes place, there has to be only one null character, because this is actually now not two strings, it is one string, and hence the null character will be inserted at the end of the resultant string. This is where the null character will be introduced, and that null character I am getting it in this, from this particular line, str of 1 I plus plus is equal to null. And once I insert the null character here, this printf will print the concatenated string as hello world. So let us see whether this program works. I'll just copy the program to the compiler. So this is my compiler. I go back here, and then I paste it here. But of course I need to remove these things. Okay, so let me now, so this is the program. So I have this, my library sorry, user defined functions, all this, and then let me run the program, and it says there is some error it is telling. Let me check it. Oh yeah, this is what we used it in Microsoft Word. Definitely the C compiler will not entertain all this nonsense. So wow, that's great. So I have the program running. It says enter first string. So I enter it as hello, as we have discussed in the tracing part. And then I am entering the second string, and then let me see the result. So it says the length of the string hello is equal to 5. So you get this output, uh, this one. So line number 42 is giving you that output. Length of the string hello is equal to 5, and both strings are not equal. You see that the first string is hello, the second string is world, and it says that both strings are not equal. And then when you concatenate, you get the output as hello world, right? So this is how you get the output. Let us run the program for one string which is equal as well. So enter the first string. Let us say I want to enter as what? I'll enter Aishwarya, and then I again enter Aishwarya actually. And then so I say length of the string is 9. Both strings are equal. Concatenated string is Aishwarya, Aishwarya, right? So this is how my strings equal program works actually, right? So I can also try to compare this with the user defined function with the library function also, correct? And then what I can do is I can just write here, and I just say printf. I just put /n. I say through library function length is equal to percentage %d, and then I just say comma length of str1. correct? So through library function, this is how I get my value of I get the value which will give me the length of the string str1, correct? So I just run this program. It says compilation failed due to following errors. Okay, so yeah, strlen, it is not actually length, so fine. So I'm making use of my library function straight away, and now I compile it. I don't think I should have any problem now. It says enter first string. I say hello, and I enter second string world. Now watch out. The length of the string hello is equal to 5, and through library function, length is equal to 5. Right? So this is how basically you can develop a program which will try to get the length of the string through library function and also with your own user defined function. Similarly, you know that you have library functions even to compare two strings and also concatenate two strings, right? So what I'll do is, let me also develop a program for concatenation with the help of library function, and I say printf /n, and I'll use the same statement through library function. It is right, so I just say percentage s, and I say comma, and I say str cat str1 comma str2, right? So this is how I have my concatenation, right? And then let me see the execution part of this program, and then I say that of course, don't worry about the warning. So I say enter string 1, so I say hello, and I say enter string 2 world. Now watch out, this is fine. So you see concatenated string is hello world, and then through library function it is again hello world. Okay, so this is how my program actually works. Right? So this is how you basically land up developing the program for strings using parameter passing techniques, right? You can also get rid of those warnings by making appropriate changes, right? So this is the program and that is its output. Okay, so this is what it is.